Where do I even begin? How do I explain what's transpired today? So, first of all, hello everyone. Welcome to the third episode or the third video or whatever you want to call it of the fourth period, where we go through the games that went on a certain night in the NHL. Tonight is the 15th of January, or the 16th, depending on if, like me, you are in Europe. And currently there's still a game going on. St. Louis Blues against the Colorado Avalanche. Last time I checked, it was 1-0 to Colorado, but I don't have the courage to watch that game and to also review it. So, I'd like to start with my team, the Toronto Maple Leafs, but I'll keep that last so I can process my thoughts. I can sit on it just a bit. So where do we start? But in Pennsylvania, where the Pittsburgh Penguins obviously took on the Philadelphia Flyers after the Pittsburgh Penguins comfortably got beaten 6-3 on opening night. So Philadelphia was in those crisp black jerseys with a weird neon orange color. It's hard to describe them, but I like those jerseys a lot. Pittsburgh started off actually really well with a high intensity. Lafferty had the big nasty hits very early on. I forgot who it was on, but it showed the intent of Pittsburgh. They weren't here to just get beaten 6-3 again. They were here to win. They were here to play, to qualify for those playoffs. And let's just say it was not a good night for some goalies. And I included Matt Murray in it, but Tristan Jarry was the first one to really have a problematic night tonight. 3 goals in the first period, 3 goals on barely any shots. First one was Konechny on a perfect pass from Voracek. The Flyers looked deadly, then hard to deny Crosby on a 2-on-1. Crosby does actually score on a power play, but that's only later on when Philadelphia is already up 3-0. Pittsburgh's defense, as we've already discussed, is shambolic. The goal for Provorov, he gets heaps of space. Just he can walk into the slot, and obviously he puts it home. Not even a good shot, just a shot on goal. Jarry doesn't get it. Jarry makes a mess of I don't remember who scored. Let's see here. Exactly, yeah. Konechny again on Nolan Patrick's dangle. Jarry makes a mess of the rebound. Konechny knocks it home. The defense for Pittsburgh is all over the place. They lose Jack Johnson, so it's a step forward. And then they bring in Cody Ceci. They have an aging Chris Letang, who they're not replacing. They had Matt Murray, who, although he had his faults and his mistakes in him last year, Tristan Jarry is nowhere near him. Nowhere near him. In terms of level, in terms of leadership. And Murray's only, 26? I don't exactly know how Tristan Jarry is, but he's not going to improve. And if that is the goalie you're going to rock for the season, forget the playoffs. I predicted Pittsburgh outside of the playoffs for that exact reason. You have an aging squad in Letang, in Malkin and Crosby. Obviously, Malkin and Crosby can do some damage, but the squad is aging. You got rid of Patrick Hornfist, which, in my opinion, was the right decision. You have Kasperi Kapanen, who still needs to come in, so that's a good move they made. But Tristan Jarry at the back, in net, Cody Ceci at the back, you're not going to get to go anywhere with that team. And then there were a few brawls, there were a few problems. Malkin and Hayes got together. There was a brawl to end the game with Hayes again, with Sevier, with Lafferty. And the rivalry is already heating up, only 2 games into the rivalry, which is good. But, man, Pittsburgh, I feel for you. Philly, though, let's not take anything away from Philly. Credit where credit is due. They look like the team to beat in the East currently. Yes, Washington beat Buffalo twice already, but we'll get onto that. It's Buffalo, and you would expect Washington to beat them. But Philly, wow. Hats off. I am looking forward to seeing more of Philly. And then obviously Lindblom gets the puck and slots it home on the empty net. 5-2, good night. Now segue to Washington, where Washington obviously beat the Buffalo Sabres 2-1. It wasn't as comfortable as Washington would have liked or hoped, but that can also be attributed to Buffalo actually being really good. Well, not really good, but compared to last year, they are really good. They made some improvements. Taylor Hall obviously being the big improvement, and it shows. It shows up front. So let's start with the beginning. Linus Ullmark in goal for Buffalo. That goes without saying, right? But well, actually, it didn't yesterday, obviously, since Carter Hutton started. But anyway, Ullmark in goal, and for Washington it was Vitek Vanacek. Now I don't know if that is because it's a back-to-back, if that is because of the goals that Ilya Samsonov let in, but it was good to see him get a start. And if you're going to give him a start, it probably is against Buffalo that you're going to do it, right? So Buffalo have lots of power plays. They get killed. Hall gets the puck. He hits the bar right after that. A new power play for Buffalo. He gets killed again. No team is playing particularly well. There's 3 power plays for Buffaloes. Nothing comes from it. And it was 0-0 after a very dull affair in the first period. But 1:30 in the second, Wilson gets the puck to Vrana. Vrana has too much space. He gets a second goal in as many games. 1-0 Buffalo. And then in the third, much like in the opener against, was it the opening night actually? I don't exactly recall, but much like the first game, Buffalo in the third gets on the scoreboard very early on. Ristolainen, 30 seconds in, with a shot that deflects off of Tom Wilson's leg into the net. But Tom Wilson would make up for it in the end. He is in a race for the puck. He wins that puck. He gets it to Backstrom. Backstrom gets it back to him. And 2-1, that's it. No empty net goal. Vanacek, 30 saves and only let in 1 goal, which, well, you can't call it a fluke goal, but there was some luck involved. So very good debut for him. It's a shame they didn't get the shutout. But if he can take something from this performance, and when he steps in, if he can perform to 90% of what he showed today, I think Washington will be fine with Vanacek. Obviously, Samsonov, it depends. We'll still have to see how his season is going to pan out. Obviously, 1 game is not enough to draw conclusions from, but 2 for 2 for the wins for Washington. And then I did not watch the Lightning against Chicago because that would have been a 4th game at 1 a.m. to watch. That's impossible. I can keep track of 3 games. When the Leafs are playing, it's harder, but 4 is just impossible. But let's get into the Toronto Maple Leafs. Right. I'm not going to turn into Steve Dangle. I am not here with a plan to rant. I'm not here wanting to draw conclusions from 2 games. I said I wouldn't draw conclusions from 1. I'm not drawing conclusions from 2, although I'm taking stuff away from 2, and some of that stuff already applies to the team, to the players. Now let's start off with TJ Brodie. So TJ Brodie had a solid first game against the Montreal Canadiens. Obviously, they let in 4 goals on 32 shots. It wasn't the greatest of debuts, but he wasn't that bad. However, this game, wow. Okay, let me put it this way. He needs to improve on these performances. If he doesn't, he will very quickly get the Cody Ceci label. Very, very quickly. Now, is he as bad as Cody Ceci in the grand scheme of things? No. But he needs to improve. If you're going to be paired up with Morgan Riley, you need to improve. And with Freddie at the back in there, I'm sorry to say, defensively, you just need to be sound. And I'll get on to Freddie. So, Freddie today let in 5 goals after 17 shots, and in total 5 goals on 24 shots. I don't know what that translated to in save percentage, but it's not good. And against the Montreal Canadiens, he let in 4 goals on 32 shots. Those teams are teams that do not have Patrick Laine, do not have Connor McDavid, do not have Leon Draisaitl, do not have the likes of Brock Besser or Elias Pettersson. They do have Stutzler, but in his first game, and that was also a thing. Before I forget, this was Ottawa's first game. This was the Leafs' second. It doesn't change that much, but it does count for something, and you struggle to get 25 shots off. And you struggle to get one save off. Freddie Andersen, and in an interview, he goes on and says, "Oh, we can't score. It's just a matter of doing it. We can't do it." He's making excuses. He needs to be bailed out every game, pretty much. He's making excuses without saying, "Oh, well, I'm using this as an excuse." We need to move on from Freddie Andersen. It's his contract here. You would expect him to play better than he usually does, and he's not. At this point, Jack Campbell needs to start, and he's probably going to start tomorrow because it's a back-to-back game. I have lost the ability to speak. I don't know how to reiterate. Sorry, what I want to say. Freddie Andersen is just done. Now, the next point is Joe Thornton, and Joe Thornton, everyone loves Joe Thornton, every hockey fan likes Joe Thornton, but he's destroying that first line. He's slow, yes, he has a vision, he has hockey IQ, but he's slow, he doesn't throw big hits around anymore, he doesn't produce on the first line, he's taking away from what Mitch Marner and Austin Matthews can bring to the team. And if you'd ask me, you put Zach Hyman up there with Matthews and with Mitch Marner. You put Thornton on the fourth line, not the third line, the fourth line. Barabanov has been invisible. Maybe you put him on taxi squad. You put Robertson on the second line with Nylander, with Tavares, or on the third line, and you move, I don't know, Mikheyev up a line. So many things you can do, but you don't put Joe Thornton up on the first line. And you don't put Wayne Simmons in on the power play. Maybe the second line, but not the first line. Anyway, so it was a debut for Matt Murray. It was a debut for Tim Stutzler. I was very excited to see Tim Stutzler. And Matt Murray, only 26, but he's surprisingly young for the criticism he's been getting. He didn't have a great game, letting in 3 goals on 23 shots, but it was enough. I don't know how, but it was enough. The Leafs... I'd like to talk about the game. So there were a few power plays for the Senators, quite a lot actually. There were quite a lot of power plays also for the Leafs. There were 2 goals. Was it 1 or 2 on the power play? I know the Zach Hyman goal wasn't a power play. The Robertson. What am I saying? I'm rattled. The John Tavares goal, was that on a power play? I can't recall if it was or not. But 5-on-3, the bench minor penalties. How on a penalty kill do you get called for too many men on the ice? And that cost us the game also. We're on a penalty kill. Kerfoot and Hyman again have the problem of getting off the ice at the right time, getting on the ice at the right time. It's a 5-on-3. Thomas Chabot obviously scores. I don't have the courage to talk about the game. I've got everything written down here, but you've all seen the game. You've all seen the highlights. You've all read about it on Twitter. You've all heard about it on YouTube. You've probably all seen videos from Steve Dangle, from the Hockey Guy, from whomever. This is just not good enough, is it? 5 goals and 17 shots, Freddie Andersen. And the worst thing is, he's not getting pulled. The third goal, the fourth goal, that should have been indication enough after the game against the Canadiens that Freddie is just... His head is not in it, his heart is not in it. He's making excuses already. He's not playing anywhere near good enough. Any hard shot that comes in, even if it's half hard, with any level of degree of difficulty, he's not stopping it. The rebounds, he's rebounding like a beer league goalie. Now, the thing with TJ Brody is he needs time to gel, right? He needs time to gel. He needs time to get acquainted with his teammates. So I'm willing to give him a few games, right? I'm not jumping to conclusions immediately with TJ Brody. He's going to have off nights. He had a terrible night today. Hopefully he's going to have a better night tomorrow. That's it for TJ Brody. Freddie Andersen, move on from him. Zach Bogosian, though, I'm not giving time. The reason why is Zach Bogosian came in for one thing, for strength, for leadership, for roughness. He's not brought any of that. In fact, he's been a liability. Justin Hall hasn't been good either. Justin Hall, I don't know what Sheldon Keefe sees in him. I don't see anything in him, but I'd rather have Justin Hall than Zach Bogosian. But if I had my way, Zach Bogosian, you take him out immediately. Taxi squad him immediately. Mikko Lehtonen, you put him in there. Not even a debate. You put Mikko Lehtonen in the team. You put Mikko Lehtonen anywhere. First line, second line, third line. It doesn't matter. You can put him on the first line with Morgan Ryan. You can put him second line with Muzzin. You can put him third line with Dermott. Anything but Bogosian. And then if you want to take out Justin Hall, take him out. You've got Rasmus Sandin. If you need to waive someone, waive Arundel. You've got a third choice goalie in Hutchinson. You've got the Marlies with Wall and with Joseph Wall and what's his name? Ian Scott. You've got them. You can use them as a third line goalie. And if you need to expose someone to Seattle, you've got Michael Hutchinson. So why do you keep Arundel on the team when you could use a 7th defenseman or you could use a 13th forward? You could, but you're not doing it. I don't know why. I do not know why. So anyway, yeah. John Tavares scored, yeah. Nylander got an assist again. Nylander also got penalties. We go again tomorrow. Same team. I think same time. I don't exactly know, but same team. Maple Leafs against the Senators again. Do I expect a better showing? It's hard not to. This was horrendous. Do I think they will? You never know. It's the Leafs. Anyway, this was a terrible video. To be fair, I don't blame you if you haven't sat through it, but if you've enjoyed it, please do consider dropping a like on the video. Please do consider sharing it. Please do consider subscribing. Let me know what you thought of the video, what you thought of the game, what you would change with the Leafs, what you would change with the Penguins, since they're not in a good state either. I thank you very much for watching. My name has been Norman, and I'll see you very soon.